She died by jumping in front of a moving train. I'll say it with confidence, it killed my daughter. But ironically, till today, even our statement has not been taken. The easiest way to explain this is to use the pattern of incidents from the beginning to the end. It's going to help you understand what actually happened. When he met her, even he has confirmed it himself, she was very perfect and she actually inspired him. When she showed me his picture, I've never been in agreement with him at all. I've always told my daughter, the reason why you were able to finish your university was because you didn't have a boyfriend. I know what guys do, I know how we do with girls, and I know how girls do. Don't fall in love yet, just try. You finished your degree because there was no boyfriend. Now, you're at KPMG, you've got a mission, a target. Get your ACA first, and you're free, and you'll have more options. So when this guy came up and she showed me his picture, I was not happy, and she knew. But I didn't tell her directly to her face that no, otherwise she would start hiding things from me. So, but she knew I was not happy about it. That was how I got to know about him. But after meeting her, like I said, there's this pattern of incidents from the beginning to when she died. And I'm saying let's split into 3 sections. So the first part, after meeting her, she was fine. The first part are things that he did that made her vulnerable. Now, I will tell you what the examples. He met her, he didn't tell her he had an infection. The infection is a viral, it's called herpes. Because herpes is permanent, there's no cure. Once you catch it, you're a carrier.
You know, there should be some sort of law in place where you're required to be transparent about certain things that you may have when it comes to sexually transmitted diseases and whatnot. You know, it should be something that's legalized, just so certain people can, you know, save the potential life of someone else based off of that person being so reckless. You know, it's important for us to be honest about certain things that we have when it comes to the potentiality for some sort of disease, which I'm sure none of you brothers want, but even in the sense of something like, you know, something more less egregious, if you want to say, something less egregious than a sexually transmitted disease, it's important for us to be transparent about it with our partner or whoever, you know, we're dealing with in a sexual way when it comes to, like, not even just a relationship, but just on some quickie shit. If we messing with some chick, we should always be transparent about whatever we have, just as they should be transparent. But I'm sure 9 times out of 10, they're not, because they want to get what they want and they don't care about, you know, the life of someone else, and they're not being considerate. I know it sounds crazy, but you have a lot of situations like that where certain people wouldn't be transparent about, you know, what they have. You know, they'll probably say that they're clean. They'll probably hide it just so they can get what they want from that person in that moment. You know, it's a dirty game out here, man.
It's permanent, there's no cure. Once you catch it, you're a carrier. You'd have to explain to your next partner that you have it, if you're honest. So you infected her deliberately, that's like to trap her. She can't go anywhere else. That's one. Wasn't allowed to speak to other men. He also misrepresented. He pretended I was a very rich guy who had multiple businesses. This is my daughter who I look after, I support. She now feels she has found somebody. Took her to his parents in Spain. Promised to marry her. Promised to invest in her future. My brother, this thing now turned out to be lies. He didn't have the money he claimed to have. All the plans he planned with her, he couldn't afford them. That went on for a while. The second section of events, I feel, what made her mental health deteriorate. So after doing all those things to the person, imagine now, all of a sudden, he starts shouting at her. There's evidence of all these things. Asking for a bank statement. Demanding for money. My daughter can never even let me see a bank statement. With the evidence we have, she now started, after that event, she panicked and started doing web searches on how to take her life. We found out afterwards. The final part are things he did that actually led to her doing what she did. Because even the corona, when they want to look at this thing, they won't just look at how she died, they look at the circumstances that led to it. So the final things which he did, which I think broke the camel's back, the final straw, After shouting and demanding for her bank statements, he now went and stole her password. Broke into her phone when she was sleeping. This she has already admitted in writing. When she was sleeping, stole her information, threatened her with the information he stole by saying that he had told her friends, removed her from his house violently, and seized her passport, which she required to claim the money, and all her belongings, kicked her out. So I've broken into your phone, I've stolen your information, I've threatened you, and I pushed you away.
Yeah, she was being used. She was being used by that guy. And notice the color schemes. That's just something I always notice. You know, she's wearing the orange a lot. Or at least they have the pictures with her just in orange or black or white. And the father's wearing black as he gives his testimony. So it's always the undercurrent that, you know, we have to keep an eye opener on. But at the same time, on the surface, this is a very tragic story. It's just something that we have to understand when it comes to being mindful about the potentiality for something crazy to occur, especially if we lose sight of, you know, vetting people and making sure that we keep an eye on them in regards to, you know, certain dark elements of them. And she pretty much, you know, it was a blind eye for her. Or more so, she probably was oblivious to it on purpose because she was infatuated with the guy. But it is unfortunate that this person was used in the way that she was. So I'm not necessarily blaming her. I'm just saying it's always important for us to look for other ways to hold ourselves accountable, you know, for what we should have done better to get out of these situations. You know what I mean? For male or female, when it comes to a dynamic like this, a situation like this, it's always important to vet the person that we dealing with, you know, and listen to the people in our life. Like, she wasn't listening to her father.
Every step along, she told her mother. When he infected her, send mother the evidence. When he shouted and he apologized, send mother the evidence. So when this thing was getting out of hand and he had broken into her phone, she called her mother. And mother rushed to Manchester. Then the following day, it continued. The mother was actually a witness to what happened when he was making his demands over the phone, the threats and all that, and when he was gaslighting her. So the mother was totally broken, you know. After the communication between themselves, which lasted about 6 p.m. or so, she told her mother she was going for a walk to clear her mind. The mother was saying she shouldn't go, that she'll make some dinner, whatever, then she'll hold her. She said that mother shouldn't worry, that she's got her phone, she's coming back. Alanis didn't come back. She died on the 29th of May in the UK at Manchester, a station called Eccles. She died by jumping in front of a moving train. So the mother has been so broken, you know. Even when the policemen came, the mother told them that it's even the mother that made the police aware of the existence of this person. That was how they contacted him, got his statement. But ironically, till today, even our statement has not been taken. Very strange, you know. That's where we are. So the mother was totally broken. I didn't get to know till the following day. When I contacted him out of love to find out what really happened, he still shared some of the stolen information with me as a way to make me scared. Something that no parents will want that information to come outside. And now, show me the demand for money, mention the amount. I'll be happy if I can help him. That money is about to go into financial ruin after she has died. Somebody you claim to love, somebody you told that you have the money, you're going to take care of her. It came with the intention to get money from this girl because she was introduced by a so-called best friend, who's not a best friend, to this guy. That's his accomplice. After she died, this girl has got to spend time with this guy, and they are united in their story against my daughter. I'll say it with confidence. He killed my daughter. He killed her.
Because they plotted against her. They pretty much used her. They set her up. You see, the father has strong perceptive abilities. The father can see. The mother, for the most part, is going to be gullible or more so going to be in despair and not really know what to do. But the father has perceptive abilities. The father knows. And she didn't hearken unto her father. It's very important for us to take heed to people that have strong, strong consideration for you, or more so strong interests at heart for you. They understand, what's best for you. And the mother does to a degree, but in this story, in this instance, she was just more so in despair rather than, having some sort of answers or have some sort of solution. The father has perceptive abilities. He understands, and she didn't hearken unto the father. And the dude that she was with, all he wanted was the money. All he wanted was, the things that he can get out of her. And she was used and abused, and that mentally fractured her to the point where she committed the suicide. But the reason why I'm saying but is because it's always important for us to vet the people that we are with. You can't just jump into a relationship and everything is going to be all peachy. This person was with this person for about 2 months until she passed away. About 2 months and a half until she passed away. And I had got the date mixed up in terms of when she met him. I thought that she met him in February 2023. I could have sworn I read an article that said that she met him in February 2023, but she actually met him in July 2022. But it's still very important for us to vet the people that we meet. Don't get too caught up. You see, the woman, she's easily susceptible to being caught up and hypnotized by the man because she's more so into that infatuation aspect. Whereas the man, he still keeps his antennas up. And I'm not saying that women don't either, but they're more prone to be into that, gullible phase where they just caught up and they hypnotize or digmatize. So it's very important for us to vet the people that we're with, vet the people that we meet. Despite residing oceans apart, Alanis remained the apple of her father's eye, his pride and joy. She moved away from the family home when she gained admission to study for the Bachelor of Science degree in Management, Accounting, and Finance at the University of Manchester in 2016. As her father's first and her parents' only daughter, the family cherished every moment they spent together. However, a sinister cloud entered Alanis' life in July 2022 in the form of Ryan Leggett, her boyfriend who was introduced to her by one of her friends. Yeah, these people, they set her up. An accomplice. A once vibrant, disciplined young woman began spiraling into the depths of despair as a crypto gambler. The boyfriend coerced her into reckless gambling, using her own money to make money so they could pay for the things he planned for them to do. As someone who relied on her money, he coerced her into insurmountable debts to himself by listening to the boyfriend and no longer taking her father's advice to heart as she once did. According to Alanis, the money problem started after she was introduced to Ryan. According to one of her best friends, Alanis had always been so sensible with money. It was during her last birthday celebration in February 2023 that the depths of Ryan's manipulation became evident. He gifted her a trip to Italy, which she accepted against her dad's wishes. She no longer hearkened unto her father, only for the boyfriend to shockingly demand a full refund of her spending money upon her return to UK. So this was all financial gain for the boyfriend. This was all usury. In an attempt to bring happiness to his daughter, Mr. Ogundipe had promised her $100,000 on completion of her exams. Yet on May 23, 2023, when Ryan discovered this gift, he pressured Alanis into revealing her bank statements and demanded the money. And this is probably what put her in that state of despair. Her refusal triggered an alarming episode that revealed Ryan's dark side and a surreptitious act of coercive control and invasion of privacy. After obtaining her password without her consent, on the 28th of May 2023, he forcibly accessed her phone, which contained company information of her father, extracting her bank statements and other sensitive data on her secret formula for staying awake at night for months on end so she could study and pass the 14 out of 15 exams on the ACA program while working at KPMG. It's crazy, man. This coercive and controlling behavior in violation of Section 76 of the Serious Crime Act 2015, an egregious violation of privacy under Section 1 and 2 of the Computer Misuse and Other Offences Act 1990, both of the UK, is not only morally reprehensible but also illegal, constituting a blatant infringement of privacy and computer misuse and domestic abuse laws. Armed with this sensitive information, Ryan subjected Alanis to physical, mental, and psychological torment, blackmailing and gaslighting her relentlessly, using the data he had stolen from her phone and threatening to paint a false story of her. On May 29, 2023, Miss Alanis tragically took her own life by jumping in front of a moving train 4 hours after agreeing to make payment. She was emotionally shattered, and her anguish was shared with her mother, making this undeniable case of coerced suicide. Ryan showed no empathy and did not release her ID required to claim the $100,000 until after her death and after he had attempted to obtain payment from Mr. Ogundipe using the stolen data. After failing in that attempt, he has sent abusive messages to Mr. Ogundipe and the family. This is unbearable, according to Mr. Ogundipe. You know, it's very, very unfortunate that these things had to take place, but this is all the more reason why we should vet the people that we're with so we can stop these things from taking place. Especially if, you know, you have a situation where your loved ones is in your life and they could do something about it. Like the father in this situation. But this is all surface level. There could be an undertone to this.
He killed my daughter. He killed her because she was already vulnerable already due to what he had done to her. My daughter was my first child. From day one, I fell in love with this girl from day one. This is a girl that I felt if she dies, I'll die. Very ambitious girl. Her plans, she was planning that within the next 2 years or so, she'll be private. This girl had a very bright future. She had a bright future ahead of her. She had done so much, she had suffered, sacrificed a lot, stayed up all night to read, to pass. Look, KPMG, the ACA, it takes you 5 years to pass the exams, right? She passed it in 10 months. 10 months. Trying to impress her father as well. And to get there very fast. Because she saw that I was very slow in my own starting and my startup. She tried, she really tried. So I mean, it's just for other people. But if for other people we just get justice, for other people's sake, that people don't do this again to other people, I think Alanis has actually achieved something.